you need to let your team know that, hey, this is how I envision this job going in.
And you have a certain profit margin that you're targeting.
Yeah.
It's okay to eat into your profits occasionally. Like, not every job is going to be a slam dunk,
No, it's not.
right? Hey everybody, welcome to ProfitDig Live. I'm Jeff Givens and I'm here with Jeff Spencer.
Hey guys, how y'all?
Two Jeffs make a right. That's what I heard. Yeah. Okay.
Can't go wrong here.
Jerry worked behind the camera as usual.
Hello.
You okay? You look lost back there.
Uh-oh. Forgot now I'm muted. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, now you're muted. Okay, good job. Good man. Chris Work couldn't be with us today. He's sick. He's at home sick.
Yeah.
Got the plague.
Yeah.
So, and we're testing out these new mics, seeing how they work out. So hopefully the sound quality is good. I think I just had my mic pointing directly into my chest. So maybe it's better, Anyway, we do our best here. And we try to help you guys out with improving your construction company, right? In whatever way we can.
Yeah. Any shape, form, or fashion, we give you some real life experience that we've had and try to help you to do better. We get comments on our website. We try to answer those that come in, or at least the ones that really hit the topics that we've been talking on.
Yeah.
We try to give some feedback when we can. We do it both online and also on video.
Yeah, we love comments too.
Yeah.
So don't hesitate if you guys got questions or comments. I mean, I like the good ones, even the ones that tell us like, Jeff, you look like your mama dropped you on your head when you were a baby. Like, I'm okay with that.
Well, we do get some comments on some guests that we've had in the past, stuff that may not be in our wheelhouse, like HVAC, electrical, and Jeff, he's electrical, he didn't answer anything electrical, but plumbing and stuff like that we don't normally do on a typical basis. Sometimes we have to reach out to our guests that we've had and try to get them to respond.
Yeah, we need to get our HVAC guy back in here.
Yeah.
There's a lot of excitement around HVAC.
But keep the questions coming, keep the comments coming. We really enjoy seeing them and looking at them and hearing y'all's feedback. And if we can give you an answer, we'll do our best that we can and to try to get your questions answered in the most reasonable fashion as possible.
Well, you were telling me about budget a minute ago, Jeff.
Yeah, it's we were talking about estimating, of course, and what that entails, and from the estimating standpoint to the fact of getting an awarded project. When you, as an estimator, when you estimate that project, you have a vision in mind. How the project's going to go in. So when you're awarded that project, it's very crucial to inform your team. You need to let your team know that, hey, this is how I envision this job going in. And the key is, like to bring that job in at budget. You've got a budget when you estimate, pre-markup, pre-overhead, profit margin, everything else, that goes into it. That's the number you have to focus on. You want to be focused on that number there. You don't want to touch your profit, don't want to touch your overhead, because that is already designated for somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've mentioned that in the past too, that if you're cutting into these rates, which, in the ProfitDig app, we try to separate those out for you so that you can see, like, this is my bucket of profit. This is my bucket that's associated for my bond. This is my bucket that's associated for taxes. You don't want to break into any of those. They're part of your costs as running a company. And you have a certain profit margin that you're targeting.
Yeah.
And if you're eating into your profit margin,
You're losing money.
you're not just losing profit, you're losing what you're aiming for to build your company. Right. So
So
don't
it's a setback. And I have people tell me all the time, we'd hope for 20% profit. This job still made money. It come in at 12%. Well, no, it lost money.
you lost 8%.
Yeah, you lost 8%. There's no other way to look at it. Your budget was built off of a project margin or a profit margin of 20%. So when you come in, anything less, if you come in at 19%, you've lost 1% on that job.
Yeah.
That's the only way you can look at it. And, another thing, is like, we've talked about this in the past, but you've got some kind of financial support, whether it be a bank, a line of credit, whatever it may be, investor, And you have to put together, a projection of that year. A lot of times to get the funding you need. And so as you come in, each job comes in a little less, a little less, a little less. Whoever that entity is that you're dealing with, get your money. That's not going to be long. They're going to hey, we're on a sinking ship. I'm not going to continue to lend you money when you can't make the money you tell me you're going to make. So, it's just smart business to make sure that you have some kind of plan in place to hit that target.
And I think maybe before we move on, like, it's okay to eat into your profits occasionally. Like, not every job is going to be a slam dunk, right? But those should be opportunities for you to reflect on, why did I have to eat into my profit?
Yeah.
Why did I have to eat into my profit? Why did I not estimate my overhead properly? Like, are you setting aside time for your project managers?
And, not just promoting ProfitDig, but that's what you get, it's like when you use an entity like ProfitDig to estimate your project, it builds you a working budget. And it gives you the opportunity to look back per bid item. If you track your costs like you're supposed to with ProfitDig, you look back and you see exactly what bid items you lost money on. But to take it a step further, you can see if you lost on materials, if you lost on labor or equipment, whatever that may be, it will show you where you lost your money at, help you to fine tune that. For
even your sub-companies, right?
Yeah,
like maybe you estimated hiring this sub-company was going to cost a certain amount, and maybe they sent you some change orders or.
But even most sub-companies, you're going to have some type of labor, materials, or something involved with that sub-company, and it could be just a mishap, that you did not estimate enough time, for your portion of that bid item. But knowing where you failed at or where you did not make your goal at is going to help you on future projects that are similar to this project here, And by seeing those bid items where you've lost money or made money, whatever it may be, it's going to help you fine tune to give you a better bid for the next project. But it goes a lot deeper than that. There's a lot more than what we can talk about just in this one video. But once you go to the awarded stage, then you got to get your team together. And whatever my production rate is, when I bring my superintendents in, I tell them, hey, this is how much yardage we got to move, or this is how much, how many feet per day we got to put in, to hit our target. I'm not going to give them what I bid. I'm going to give them less. Because if I give them exactly my production rate, that's what they're going to focus on. That's what they're going to hit. Or, if they have some hiccups, then, they're going to put you over your limit. I try to reduce by about 15 to 20% of what my actual bid shows as production rates to where it's still a doable goal for the guys in the field. They can achieve it, but they're going to have to really work at it to make it happen.
Yeah. And I know you've talked about it too, is when your guys work hard and they come in under.
They get incentives.
And that's another thing to consider. Reward your people.
Yes.
If you're challenging them and they're stepping up to the challenge and meeting it, make sure you reward them, compensate them appropriately.
Especially if they are coming in under budget, your profit margin, every day they come in their budget, your profit margin may be at 20%, but now it's at 22, now it's 25, now it's 27. So 20% is what you're shooting for. So what if, say they come in at 27%, that 7% difference, whatever that money may be, I may keep 10 or 15% of it for the company, and then everything else that's left, I divide up between my men. It was on that.
Yeah.
And then you give them some incentive, like, hey, foreman gets a $5,000 check, $8,000 check at the end of the job. The operator gets some, the operators get some, the laborers, the pipe layers, whatever it may be, they all get a portion of that. And that gives them incentive to like bust ass on the next project.
Well, and I would say it goes beyond just the personal incentives. When you set a culture on your teams, especially smaller, more tight-knit teams, that personal accountability from the guy next to you on the job site. If you see someone really slacking,
that guy's going to say, hey, you need to get your ass in gear.
You're going to want to encourage them in some way.
Yeah.
Right.
We stand to make, $2,000 or $3,000 at the end of this job.
Yeah.
If we get it done in time.
Yeah. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
Right. I know anytime, obviously the sales positions are incentivized in that way, but it's not often that any execution teams or service teams out in the field are always incentivized like that.
Right.
But so that's good.
And one of the key factors too is like engineers aren't perfect by no means as far as design.
What?
Well, maybe in an electrical field, but in my world, grading and excavating, it's a little different. But as you meet with your team when you're awarded this project to start it, sit down, tell you guys, like, hey, study these drawings, help me figure out a way that we can save some money. Is there anything you see that we can change or do different than how the design currently is, to where we can save some money, pick up a little extra money. And there again, you can increase your profit margin, sometimes, a major amount just by finding errors that the engineer has made, in the design of the project, And sure, I mean, you're going to get change orders and everything else and to make that happen. But sometimes, just by shortening up your process, just because I'm upper management doesn't mean, in the way I bid this job to go in, doesn't mean I've got the best route. My foreman or my superintendent may say, hey, I think we can do it like this and speed up our time, or, save a little bit here, save a little bit there. Well, if I've been working with them for a while, I'm going to take their gesture and I'm like, yeah, let's run with it, see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, well, especially if you've got a long track record with those guys out in the field, right? Trust.
Yeah.
We've talked about this a lot.
Yeah.
Is trust that expertise in the field, right?
Yes.
Like be humble. Doesn't mean everything they say is going to be correct, but you got to listen to them because a lot of times they are going to be correct. Because especially you mentioned being an upper management, your vision is this wide,
Right.
And in the field, they can see the details, right? And that doesn't mean you got to get stuck down in the minutia as upper management. But if your guy comes to you and says something like they don't want to come to you and say something, like there's a reason they're doing it. You should listen to them, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And you mentioned something interesting too about talking to the crews. You say like, oh, I need you to run this so many feet per day, or you have certain daily measurements to say like this goals that will put us on track to finishing on time or under budget.
Right.
There's a report in ProfitDig that helps you with that. It's called Awarded Project Progress Report. So if you're tracking everything in a tool like ProfitDig, like you can find out how you're coming along on your materials. As long as you're entering in your costs, as long as you're entering in your labor, you'll see where you're at and you'll be able to get an idea of your true percentage progress on that
And you'll
project.
be able to see early on, like, areas that may be behind schedule. And that way it gives you opportunity to push your guys to say, hey, look, we're slacking here. Y'all got to pick up the pace and we've got to make this happen, by such and such date or whatever it may be. But, the end game is like, to avoid liquidated damages, to come in at or under budget, find ways to increase your profit margin and share with the guys out in the field. Let them know that, hey, and then when they don't get a incentive bonus, it's like, hey, y'all did not perform as well as what I thought you would, or, what you were capable of. So, the whole company is suffering on this one project because, it just wasn't, and it may be an estimating failure. It could be something on my part.
Yeah.
I may have set a goal for them that was not achievable.
Right.
But there again, it's a learning curve. When I hit the next project, similar to this, I'm going to slow down my production rate.
Well, I would say in that situation, there's a guy that does podcasts and books, Jocko Willink, I think is his name. He talks about this idea of complete ownership, or I forget what his term is, but he's like, is there something that can be done better? It's on me. I can do better. If you have that mindset, people will recognize that. And nobody expects anyone to be perfect. But let's say you have a job that you've estimated incorrectly. Learn from that, right? Don't do the same thing
twice,
every bid.
Yeah.
Because eventually those guys out in the field are going to lose trust. Like you mentioned engineers earlier. That's why a lot of engineers lose trust, is they have a lack of humility, right? Or they're not getting out in the field and getting the feedback from those guys in the field. It's like, yeah, this guy might have a nice, pretty piece of paper. He might have a comfortable job, might have 30 years experience. But if he's not listening to what's happening out in the field, I don't care what your level of intellect is or your level of knowledge, you're not operationally effective.
Right. And so, and that goes back to me as well, like it's been probably, I make job site visits, don't get me wrong, but it's been probably 20 years or better since I've actually been on a job site and run a crew. So, I mean, things change. I mean, progress happens and there's ways to put projects in faster and I'm not out there day to day. So, so I do make mistakes on some jobs and I have to try to correct that in the next project.
Mm-hmm. And where do you get that feedback from?
Well, I get it from the data.
Yeah. So you're looking at data.
I'm looking at data.
So that's another way to get feedback, right? Mm-hmm. Look at the data, right? And have a tool like ProfitDig.
Well, and then, like at the end of the job, I sat down with the guys that was on that project and like, I gave y'all goals. This was the target you had to hit, on an average. You're not going to hit them every day, but if you're supposed to move 1,000 cubic yards of dirt a day, you got 2 days, you hit 800 yards, and 1 day you hit 2,500 yards. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, as long as it balances out at the end of the job, mm-hmm. that's all that matters. But when it doesn't, I bring the guys in, I talk to them, I'm like, hey, I gave y'all a goal. Why could we not achieve this goal? Why did we not hit that goal? And most time it's the superintendents and the foremen that I talk to. Like, well, we had this, this, and this, and then I see, I just didn't give them enough time.
Yeah, or the challenges they're facing.
Yeah.
Maybe next job, if it's a similar type job, I can account for these things.
Account for them, slow production down a little bit, and mm-hmm. give them the opportunity to do what they can do.
Yeah, I would say, just to play devil's advocate, someone might say, like, well, if you keep increasing your cost, you're never going to win a bid. What do you say to that?
Well, I mean, if your cost is your cost, you've got to bid to make a profit on the cost that you have. Mm-hmm. You may not win every bid. You don't want to win every bid. Mm-hmm. It's like my dad told me, years ago when he first started teaching me how to estimate. He's like, about 10 to 12% is all you want to win of the bid. So if I bid 100 jobs, if I can pick up 10 or 12 jobs out of those 100 jobs, I'm right where I need to be.
Yeah. Yeah, and we've talked about that. I think it's been a long time since we mentioned that. That's why I brought it up, is that there's a mentality in today's lifestyle. We're fascinated with dopamine hits and likes, and if you lose something, or if you fail at something, in this case, I could see someone thinking, well, I lost this bid, and I lost that bid, and I lost that bid. Okay, that might be the case, but if you know your costs and you know what kind of profits you're wanting to make, you want to lose those jobs that you lost, because more than likely there's someone else out there that way underbid. Yeah. And they're going to lose their shirt on that job.
And we've talked about this in the past as well, especially comes with experience in estimating. Mm-hmm. If you can see the bid tabs on a project you're bidding and you lost that job and you can see the margin you lost it by, 9 times out of 10, you look at your actual cost. A lot of times I've bid against contractors that will come in at or below my cost for that project. Mm-hmm. I don't want that project.
No.
Not for that kind of money. I don't want it. Let them have it. Let them do what they can do and hope for the best for them. But I know what my cost is to operate on a daily basis, and if I cannot achieve that in my bid, then the next job's waiting on me. I don't have to have that one.
Yeah, I mean, the U.S. is busy with construction right now. And
I mean, why am I going to put my guys in a field in a predicament, give them an unachievable goal because I got greedy and wanted to win that bid?
Right.
That there's no way in hell I could make money on it because my guys can't perform at that rate. Mm-hmm. And the ones that want it, more than likely, their guys can't perform at that rate either.
Yeah, they'll find out.
They will, yeah.
Right.
Hardly, yeah.
Right.
Yep.
All right, Jeff. Great information as always. I'm going to wrap this one up.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for listening, guys. If you're curious, if you enjoyed the conversation, if you've got questions, comments, leave them below. Like the video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, all those great things. And all this is, all these videos that we do, we've got a ton of them if you're just now seeing our channel. Check us out. We do this type of conversation. We've been doing it for many years now.
12, 13 years now.
A long time, yeah. Yeah, so there's a lot of content out there that can be good for you. And if you're looking for an application like what we were mentioning before, get a hold of your data. Check us out at ProfitDig.com. It's the world's best bidding and estimating and cost tracking tool. It's got the most handsome owner partners in the world.
Yes, that's right, yeah.
So,
And I hadn't looked in a while, but I'm going to say it's probably going to be one, if not the most affordable avenues you can take to estimate and track job costs all in one application.
Yeah, and we don't mess around with the price. A lot of the tools that you go in, they look real nice until you start looking at the price for those. And usually the price is call for a quote, send an email for a quote, fill out a form for a quote. There's no quotes with ProfitDig. It's $99 a month for a single user. And there's discounted plans beyond that if you purchase for a year. And there's no contract. You can cancel anytime.
If y'all want that $99 price, though, you better sign up before we raise it.
Yeah.
Every day I say we need to.
Yeah, we've been arguing with Jerry on the price for a long time, but we've managed to maintain our $99 price point. And for me, I think we're trying to serve the people. So if you are looking for an app that provides a lot already, and we've got things in the works. We're working on Project Takeoff. We're working on a field app right now for being able to enter time out in the field. We've got all sorts of stuff. QuickBooks integration planned for later.
We want to be a one-stop shop.
That's it.
For you guys. I mean, we are focused mainly on like new and upcoming contractors, but this application will work for the largest construction company in the United States or anywhere in the world.
Yeah, we've built for scale at enterprise.
Yes. So, I mean, it doesn't matter the size of your operation. We can definitely be one of the most affordable and easiest to use. I mean, the customers we have, when they sign up as new customers, I can count probably on both hands how many times we've had to answer a phone call or answer questions. You know, it's very simple to go through and set everything up, and it doesn't take a whole lot of knowledge to figure us out and get you up and going.
Yeah. Yeah, and you'll hear directly back from us. Like if you do have a question or if you have a comment, like we don't have
only 4 of us. So.
Yeah, we don't have a team in the Philippines or anything like that. It's not a call center. You get one of us, rednecks from Tennessee responding back to you.
We all speak English. You can't always understand us, but we speak English.
That's true. Yeah. So anyways, ProfitDig, we love it. That's why we do this. And we're trying to help the community. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, guys.